they're a rather inexperienced squad, right? All these guys are coming from Heroes of New Earth. All these guys, compared to the pool, we have nobody who's like, this is my first year of Dota, guys. But compared to the pool, Liquid is easily one of the most inexperienced teams here.
That's fair to say. I'm not saying that they've been together. They've been a squad together for like 2 years now.
Yeah. But the thing is, right? They are playing a lot of 60-minute games, so they do have more price than other teams, right? Like in a way.
In a way, maybe in their short amount of time, they've grinded up a decent amount.
I know what you're saying. I agree. You really don't have 70 minutes in. Good luck. Who the hell knows what's going to drop?
That is true. Who knows the neutral drops, right?
They're just trying to make it fun for all the tournaments, right? You know, they're like, average game length 30. Liquid's like, nah, let's bump that up for the viewer.
Just to give you an idea, I have like twice the amount of time in Dota than Mickey does.
Well, then why are you not up there?
Because I'm garbage. That's why. Because I'm a terrible player. But I played a lot. But Mickey, meanwhile, his time in Dota, obviously he has a history playing in Han, but his Dota 2 history is actually like very very short.
Fair enough, yeah.
So we got TNC on the Radiant side, Liquid on the Dire side. We have a couple of different bans coming out from Liquid compared to what they banned out yesterday. They banned out Puck and Tiny every single game that we saw. I have a sign. I think Loda's quite happy with the squad.
Yeah, I mean, so. Team Liquid, they managed to bop Na'Vi one really hard. They easily 2-0'd that, and I think a large part of it was the Treant Protector. They got both games.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, TNC, I think they won both Enchantress games they drafted against Fnatic. So Liquid, obviously, they see a strong point. They're going to ban it away. I wonder if TNC are going to let them have the Treant Protector because they have a plan against it. I personally think that hero's too broke conceptually, but
I still do too. I still think that hero just does way too much because he's amazing early game, and then he is literally one of the best BKB counters in the game, and he also just makes your carries so much better because living armor, if you don't have a way to dispel that off, and also most carries are going to be like BKB later, so you can't dispel it off of them half the time. They just get that much stronger.
He's the best tower defender. He's one of the best split pushers as well, playing in the trees with the Meteor Hammer.
Yep.
And they're more afraid of the Naga Siren Disruptor combo, which may be what Liquid still opens with. The Disruptor has been in high value. Doom is also still out there, a hero that has been picked and banned in every single draft at this tournament.
And Taiga has really been liking Treant Protector as well. Yeah. So I don't know how early you want to prioritize that one, or you want to keep it open for potential,
I wouldn't doubt if we just saw a tree into like a Lich Slark.
Yeah, I think
pretty common.
I think the thing about the tree is, though, it's flexible. They play it they can both play it. It's not just Taiga, but for the most part, it would be him.
They're using some time. They're using a tree. All right, let's see. I think either Slark, Lich, or Disruptor plus something.
It's funny, it's like TNC left so many like OP heroes, quote unquote, and the Treant Protector, and said, you want your tree, we're going to get something really good. I think Doom Disruptor is the best combo for me because it's the combination of Doom is a guaranteed kill as long as you have the catch for it. Disruptor's the ultimate catch.
Yep, definitely agree. I also just love these two heroes because you get to a point, if you get to the later stages of the game, you have Doom, and then you have AoE Doom. Yep. What's better than that? That's what we've seen a majority of these teams is the reason you pick the Disruptor is because he's gotten buffed so much in the early game, and then he gets to that later stage, of course with the Philosopher's Stone probably, or something along those lines, and then he gets that.
We know Liquid likes to play games and they go pretty long, so how do you prepare for that? Like, do you just get a lot of heroes that are good Doom targets, or do you get heroes that can survive through all the Dooms?
They've been doing Oracle, which is good against Disruptor in the lane as well, and I take it right there.
Nice call, Grant.
I was going to say their Avenger Oracle. I think a save is just probably the best thing that we've seen.
And the Oracle is good, right? Because he Thunder Strikes you and you just take it off, and it's the highest damage nuke in the game, but only if it goes off and you can dispel it, which is nice.
Yeah. It's really cool too because it's a save, but it's not like you're just saving them because you're popping your ult on them, but you're also your Fate's edicting them inside of that Disruptor ult. So Disruptor ult, like a lot of people are just like, it's an AoE Doom, but it does like 2,000 damage if you get caught inside of all of it, and that Fate's edict counteracts like about half or so if you do put it at the right time.
And the AoE is gigantic too, ever since they gave it an extra 100 like 2 or 3 patches ago.
They banned the OD. I believe TNC was one of the 2 teams who played in the safe lane, actually, so a little versatility from them. And also, OD is just one of the few int heroes you're like, man, that's a real good late game hero. And just counters a bunch of the agility carries, obviously.
He's annoying as an Oracle to deal with too, because you can just put the target under, like while they're getting gone on, and then you can't save them, right? Like if he does just pop out, like they pop out really low, and then your Oracle has to get there in time to actually cast the spell. There's a lot of other reasons, sure, but
yeah, if there's an Oracle on your team and you have Koikba on your team as well, you're probably banning out that Huskar.
Yeah, Huskar Oracle is really dangerous. I think Slark Oracle is very dangerous as well.
Yep.
Just the hard save to be able to bail a Slark out and give him a chance. Obviously, his regen kicks in double time once he gets out of vision as well. So
we expected some, cheese type of things coming out from both teams. Well, not expected, but it's likely.
More than likely.
Yeah,
I would expect it. You're right.
Both teams, we're not going to call them disgusting, but they're dishonorable, as they were saying.
Yeah.
Like Antonio was literally saying, we're dishonorable. Navi's are respectable.
And here's like, let's do some puck versus club. He's like, nah, Huskar, Meepo, Brood, whatever.
Brood.
All right, we got the Shaker removed from the pool, and the Bloodseeker ban Slark pickup.
I love Slark with Disruptor. Give that vision for the glimpses all those times, and you give that increased night vision, and they ban out the heroes that are good versus it. They ban out that Bloodseeker, and it's still one of the most popular carries.
They've been drafting Slardar a couple times, and it is one of the more proficient laners against Slark. It's a matchup you can't actually win.
Yeah, BSJ recommended that a lot when we were in Singapore, especially.
Well, they better pick it than if BSJ recommended it. Damn.
I have a Doom question. We have seen Armel play Doom for TNC. Are we expecting that again, or what kind of position? Especially, we have a Disruptor, and I thought, okay, it's going to be a Tim's Disruptor, but then we see the Shaker ban, and normally it's the Shaker for Tim's. So I'm like, who's going to go where? What should we expect?
I still think it's on KP until I see something differently. I just usually think Doom's in the off lane, but the thing is, March likes to last. He last picked his hero a few times, actually. That Enchantress, which can go to different lanes, but I usually just assume Doom's in the 3 unless you see something obvious.
We have seen it also ran in the 4 though, right? Tim's has played it a lot in the 4, even at last tournament. He was playing it a bunch, and we've seen Zayat's run it a lot in 4. A lot of different teams are, so it is very flexible. I do think that is a very good point.
We've actually seen in every single role, because there was a 5 Doom as well. We've seen in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's maybe the only hero. I think
that's a good point.
Madness. Well, leaving it open, that's always been one of the nice things to do, right? In your drafts. Ooh, the Boxy special. I don't think there's any question about who's playing what on the side of Liquid. They're
the panel's on fire, baby.
I mean, BSJ, thank you.
Shout out to the man. The promo code himself.
But okay, so in lane, you just how do you win it, Cav? You were kind of saying
you hit the crates 3 times and then you bop the Slark. Yeah, you just keep doing that over and over.
Or do you just you never want to trade hits? You
don't trade hits because Slark will still beat you on the essence shift stealing, but you just keep on harassing him to a point. Eventually, you'll get an advantage, right?
Yep. No, I really like this Slardar versus this. It also is a hero that can play super aggressive, so if they do start getting their lead forward versus a Disruptor, you're running at a Disruptor. Disruptor doesn't like getting ran at, and Slardar is a hero that always is just going to open up Rosh. Immediately that hero, even if you don't have a Roshing lineup, Corrosive Haze just gives you that potential.
And the Lich made it all the way through to 4th pick.
That's pretty dirty. The Lich Slark, you get Lich Slark in your 3 and 4 pick. It's like Vici and EG are first picking the and you're getting it here. That's pretty crazy.
And most of the damage coming from Slardar and Train Protector in lane are physical damage. So that makes if you do get the Frost Armor, it makes it even stronger in that regard.
There is an Oracle.
Yeah.
So there's a Dispel. That's one of the big things too, is Lich is going to be annoying. It depends on, in what instances if he's ever in the lane. But it's going to be a lot of times where you just see that Oracle, Fortune's End, just being able to purge off that Frost Shield.
I wonder, it's like he wants to be in both lanes, right? The Disruptor, Thunderstrike, and the Lich. So it'll be interesting to see how Liquid solves this.
Ooh.
Okay.
A hero we saw a ton during the group stages, and then it's kind of fallen off. We've seen it a little bit here and there, but it's really fallen off, and I think most of us are like, I wonder why. It is still very, very good.
Yeah, especially if it's against a Doom. Doom can suffer a little bit sometimes because you have this very low armor, but also Doom can run at you pretty hard, so it's a little bit of it goes both ways just because of that. But also Slark is also a weird matchup too, because versus Drow you can be excellent if you're ahead, because you can just you're always far away from the Slark. But once Slark gets ahead and you get an Aghanim Scepter, then you're never going to be able to keep the distance away from Slark.
So if you want to talk about combo heroes with Drow Ranger, the OD is already banned out. Same goes with the Huskar, but there's still Viper, Storm. Is there any other that you guys can think of?
Storm is the biggest one, at least for me, for Liquid right now. I mean, there's Pounce and there's some like little small disables that are a bit annoying for him, but could be a possibility.
It's always just scary, right? Because now some disruptors were going straight up Ags. Now they're going Eul's Ags. So no matter what, if Storm gets caught by that Eul's, you're going to die.
Yep.
Well, you have an Oracle, but more than likely you're going to die.
There's Puck, but I feel like Puck has fallen off as a core a bit more and really stuck in that 4 position. We saw Chris Luck, not really have the greatest game in that last series.
Yeah, what did that Puck do that a 4 Puck couldn't have done? Kind of thing? And
exactly.
It feels like that's what a lot of heroes do, right? They just slowly go down the list as their farm priority.
Oh, there's TA.
There is TA.
It's a lot of little damage over time, though, for a TA.
I don't like TA versus Sluck is always a bit of a...
Should we be worried about Broodmother still? Or
I was looking at that. Broodmother for Liquid is... I don't think it's bad. I think it's pretty good.
They'll be last pick.
They're not the overall, though. Yeah, that's the problem. And I think there's actually some pretty good...
In some of those matchups, you can shift Doom into the mid lane against. I don't know how the Slark Broodmother works, but...
I've seen Slark, and it was actually China pubs were running Slark against the Brood middle.
Oh, yeah, you just run at him right away.
Yeah, you just
Orb?
right-click him with Orb, and he gets out of lane because he doesn't get that many Spiderlings early. I've only seen that in China pubs, though. They do ban the Puck.
Okay.
Just like...
That's all you needed was control, right? You had a Doom Disruptor Slark. If you just control some people with that hero, they're going to die.
It's like Gyro mid, Morph mid. There's some interesting options you could change up.
I must say, if you take away the bans, you don't see that, and you just see what TNC's drafted. It's like, how did they get Doom and Disruptor and Lich and Slark? I feel like that's
kind of what I'm
strong
looking
to me.
at too.
And I think that's what we talked about, right? Like, I think Liquid came in with their own draft that they're going to go for, and they're like, we're going to give TNC what they want as long as we get what we want.
What I see right now is Liquid has some super strong lanes, and TNCs are just... They're kind of weak. I mean, Lich and Disruptor do kind of turn that one, but in comparison, I think Liquid's lanes just look really scary, just because of the picks that they have, like the counter picks, like the Slardar versus the Slark. So we're probably going to see some like lane dodging coming out from TNC to try to get the better situation out of that one.
Well, the nice part is Slardar beats Doom as well as a core, right? So
good call on the Viper. I think it was one of those.
Yeah, it's just natural pickup.
And this hero doesn't feel bad late game. Remember a while ago, it's like, oh, you just fall off a certain point. No, those wings flap way quicker, and you do a lot of damage. And as Kyle say, that Drow aura. No, I'm just kidding. There's no aura on Kyle.
Well, the ult ties an aura, but it's different. Yeah, it's 1200 radius. It's not global. Or,
You got the nether toxin that you could drop on the ground against the Slark. So when he shadow dances and he tries to just stay on top of somebody, he doesn't actually get those stats stealing away.
What do we like it for last pick for TNC? Most likely for Armel.
What if they brood?
Nah. Would they? Nah.
But there's a Viper.
I just don't.
You'd have to Slardar
That'd
mid.
be weird. I don't know. I don't think the TNC would do it, but
it's Alina.
It's Alina. That's more comfortable, and it's
the range.
It's just their comfort style for sure.
All right, guys. Do we like it? And who do we like more?
I'm actually not sure if I like the Lina last pick. It just feels kind of standard. I just look at the 4 other heroes from TNC. I feel like all those heroes, like so many of them are in the top 10.
All right, guys. We're going to find out what's going to happen. We're going to send you to a musical intermezzo, and after that, straight to the game.
Prepare for battle. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We've got TNC versus Liquid ready to go here from Leipzig. I'm Eddie Pixel, joined by Lizard for this one. Lizard, what are you looking forward to here? We've got Liquid trying out the old Drow Viper strat. TNC, though, they've got a lot of ways to close the gap, and a lot of ways I feel that's going to make it very hard for Mickey to play his game as the Drow.
They have so many gap closing abilities. You have Pounce on the Slark once that he gets that tag, and at the same time you have Disruptor, one of the strongest supports at the moment. I can't believe that this hero just got through so easily in the first drafting stage. I don't know. Liquid, they believe in their draw strategy. It's definitely strong. You have Corrosive Haze, you have Viper, like the panel mentioned before, but this looks like such a great Slark game too.
It really does. I mean, as you say, you know, when he has the Ags, the BKB, it's going to be very hard for Liquid to just stop him from getting on top of the Drow and causing so many issues for Mickey in those mid-game fights. We'll see if Liquid's able to get the good edge in the lanes. They, you know, obviously picking like this Drow, the Viper, I mean, the mid lane in particular. We'll see how that matchup does go down. Armel as Alina, you got the ways to like nuke the wave out, you know, to sort of spam back and push back against the Viper. But if you sort of fail on that first wave and the Viper's able to position himself on the high ground, it can be very annoying and very hard to get close to the creeps.
Whenever I see the Lina, I look at the enemy team, and it's the same with Drow. Do they have the catch? Do they have the gap closing abilities? And when you look at Liquid, initially they don't, but later on, Tree is going to be invis all the time. In the trees, you're going to have most likely a blink on Boxy. Usually he goes for that Axe build, but eventually he will have that blink, and when that does happen, Lina might be in a lot of problems.
We see the lane setups here for Liquid. They are going to run the aggressive. At the moment they have Slardar up top, which is in that matchup where the Slardar is going to be against the Slark and can really sort of punish the Slark early on. We'll see how much March can do to keep this area safe for Gabby, but as a whole, you definitely have a strength as the Slardar against this melee hero like a Slark on the early levels, because you just got to punch it.
From level 2, you're much stronger, but they rotated Disruptor as well, and Boxy might be in problems.
They're trying to get aggressive onto March, and he'll be able to get the kill for it. He may lose his life though, as the Thunderstrike and the right clicks do mean the trade does occur. Gabby gets the permanent AGS and shift stack. So Liquid, they get first blood, but they also give a kill away to the Slark very early on.
Well, I think if you're Boxy, you're kind of alright with that. Giving that kill away to Gabby is definitely problematic, and now we will have a 3-on-2 action here, at least for the time being. I'm wondering if they will bring the 3-N towards the top lane as well.
Oh,
they kill off Doom.
Yeah, Tiger and Mickey, just Tiger's able to lead him right into the tower. He gets low, does not fall. Some aggression whilst they realize that TNC's attention has been drawn towards the top lane and KP is alone.
It's all about the starting items. If you look at the Taiga, he has Fairy Fire and most importantly Orb of Venom, and because of that he can go on KP again.
We have the Nature's Grasp, so he's just blocking off any sort of escape for KP, and it's going to be a second kill just as quickly as KP comes back to the lane. Tiger will happily reset and get himself a free trip back to base, but this lane for Mickey, it's being set up perfectly because of Tiger's aggression.
Yeah, he's having a blast. At the same time, I don't think... Let's see where Treant will go again. If he goes top, which he is, Drow Ranger is left alone, lonesome on that bottom lane, and there might be some switches happening from TNC as well. You don't leave that Drow alone. You have to react to that.
I mean, so obviously KP's got to take the slow walk back to the lane, so there will be a lot of time for Mickey to get a few ways in, smoking, yeah, to get over there a little bit quicker. And Mickey's going to have a lot of space because of that time. It just takes KP to return to bottom.
On the panel of the last game, we also talked about the creeps that he can get as Doom early on, and it's very difficult for a Doom to find the useless creep, but these little mud golem fights, they're probably one of the worst ones to get. You get that stun and that's it. A Frost Armor would be much better for him down bottom.
Now, looking at the mid lane so far, Armel on these early few levels, he is doing a fantastic job against the Viper. 13 and 4 against the 8 for 2. He's got that edge.
I think this is to be expected if the lane block wasn't perfect from the Viper, because Lina outranges him, and then when the stacks starts happening, you just LSA and move back.
Armel certainly proving to have mastered that matchup, as it were, so far. And a lane that we'll see if there's going to be any sort of rotations.
You can see it already. There's a Disruptor rotating bottom lane. Drow might be in problems. She has to be very careful about the way she lanes here. He's invis as well.
Let's see if Tim's can get the catch. It's just level 1, so will just be a Thunderstrike offering up that bit of damage, a little bit of a slow of each tick, and Mickey is rather close to the tower. The wave is going to push out. We'll see how far forward he steps.
If they only had the glimpse here, and now they do, level 2, maybe even kinetic field. Okay,
now they can have a good shot at this. Mickey, he has got Tiger by his side, and that would be enough to push KP back, so the damage won't be there to bring Mickey down, and now Mickey can turn, gets the slow and the multi-shot onto KP. KP dies a third time on this bottom half of the map as Tiger and Mickey, they are working this bottom lane perfectly.
Yeah, KP is just having a terrible time so far on that bottom lane. Here on top, we have Insania. He's trying to... he actually snatches that creep away, but because of that, he is bounced on.
I mean, Gabby's got to be a little careful because Boxy's going to start going for his support, pushing March away from him. Gabby does commit, get the kill. See if Boxy can punish this. Mickey's coming with the TP to offer that extra bit of damage, but Gabby, he's just turning, and he actually kills off Boxy as well. Gabby gets the double kill, and Mickey just does not have the damage at the moment to shoot down the Slark. Gabby's going to get away with it.
He had sticks, and he obviously has essence shift. You have to be super careful when you're fighting Slark in these melee engagements. Even if you are a Slardar, it doesn't matter. You think, all right, I'm going to get my 3 charges, then I'm going to stun you. But by the time you get those charges, you don't even hit him that hard because he stole all of your attributes.
I mean, Gabby, sure, we've been talking about Mickey having a good time down bottom because of the way the Tiger's held out his lane, but this top lane, Gabby getting 3 kills, all of them granting him that extra buff to the essence shift permanently. He's having a great start on that top half of the map.
I think it's super important for them to have a very tanky, very fat Slark early on because he can create a lot of space. He can be very, very active in this game. He doesn't have to be that Slark that just disappears for until 15-minute mark. He can be active across the map and rotate.
I mean, on this mid lane, Armel, he's just continuing to crush Quakefer. 27-11 against the 18-for-6. Quakefer very much struggling. Now, Armel, he's hit the 6. He's got that kill potential, and TNC, they're going to look to abuse it just as he hits that 6. Perfectly timed. The glimpse back into the stun. There's the nuke from the Laguna Blade. TNC, very hot with the moves.
He's 10 CS behind, and now he fell as well. They kill him in the perfect timing. Like you noticed, Lina hits that 6 because of the advantage with the denies. Instant rotation by Tims. Tims has done this really well so far in the game. He rotated bottom. It didn't really lead to anything. It only led to his Doom's demise, but at the same time, he recovered super well by rotating mid.
Quakefer returns to the lane, but does certainly have to remain cautious with Tims in their neighborhood, and especially with Armel bottling up a double damage rune. When the glimpse is back up, they may well just look to make another move onto the Viper to try and push Quakefer out of that area once again.
I love what Tims is doing overall on that side of the map because he has just warded that cliff next to the medium camp, and he's just waiting for the courier, perhaps waiting for another opportunity to strike. You can see these wards. They will prevent Viper from going back into the woods. You can see him.
And there we go, the glimpse into the stun. Armel steps in. He hasn't got Laguna Blade back up quite yet. Still 5-second cooldown, and Insania's in with the safety to keep Quakefer fine. Now Quakefer's going to turn, just see if he can get a touch onto Tims, but Tims, he's already backed off.
Quakefer is suffering, and their literal game plan is to continue doing that, to continue pressuring him as much as possible, because you want to make Viper weak in that mid game. He would be the one that stands up front and just creates a lot of mess. He would be the tank, and if you weaken him in the early stages of the game, he won't have the opportunity to do so comes 15-minute mark.
A little bit of an aggressive power step from Gabby. Doesn't quite get the latch. Bottom lane, KP's dropped down the Doom onto Boxy. Tims with the Thunder Strike, trying to do the damage to bring him down low, but there's living armor healing him up, so the Doom alone will not kill Boxy off. He's able to back away.
Very interesting from KP, the skill build that he's going for. If you notice mind control and how he's playing, he goes for no devour.
They're getting in on top of Armel, the help of Insania. There's the backup. March comes in with the TP Frost Shield. Armel's gonna be, is the poison enough? It is. The poison will kill him. Liquid finally able to push Armel out of that lane that he's been dominating in for the most part.
Quakefer needed that kill. He needed that kill so much because he was 1,000 gold behind at the 8-minute mark. That shouldn't be happening as a Viper. You always pick the hero to lane dominate, and he has been just suffering there.
Yeah, very nice moves from Insania, coming in and giving that extra bit of hold and control to allow Quakefer to get on top of Armel. Bit of a courier snipe here, but overall, Liquid, they do have the 1k lead. miCKe's game still continues to be the strongest after that entire free farm he had down bottom, and now moving up to top. He's continuing to get away with all the farm, and not really too much that Gabbi can do alone to contest the CS. Maybe with a +1 he can try and get aggressive onto miCKe, but Gabbi, and Gabbi now with the 6-2, so he does have that shadow dance, so can afford to be a little more aggressive without the worry of Liquid turning on him.
I think they will try to go on top lane very soon. They should, at least. The Drow Ranger is probably the most susceptible one to dying this early on in the game. And with a couple of levels on Lich and on that Stark, if he's out of position just a little bit, he can fall. Same goes for KP. Even though he's a Doom, we saw how Doom can be super tanky in that last game. This is a completely different match. He doesn't have Frost Armor, and he's also playing versus a Slardar. That Corrosive Haze is going to make him melt.
Yeah, Boxy with a nice little Neutraline pickup as well. Finds the Faded Brooch. That extra bit of movement speed will help him close the gap and stay on top of the enemies when he starts to see opportunities to run them down.
I love Taiga's positioning. He's securing Koikwa here. If Lina approaches from behind the tower, they can make an aggressive move as well. But most importantly, he's just scouting so that no one else can go on the Viper. Armel with a little bit of an out-push play stops Viper from that tier 1 attempt.
We'll see coming up to the 10-minute outpost if either team wants to try and look for a fight. Liquid bringing 3 of them down bottom as Koikwa starts to leave that mid lane for the first time this game, ready to use his power as the Viper to secure this area of the map for Liquid.
It's your 10-minute mark. You're thinking about outposts and you're thinking about this tier 1. Tier 1's on the safe lanes. That's basically your objective. And if you can get the outpost and the bounty rune, it's super easy to get backup, right? Once you go on that tier 1.
On the river, Armel. He's chasing Insania a little bit, doesn't quite have the mana to play the full combo on him, so Insania will live. Just a 1-for-1 in the outpost, as expected. No sort of full-on fight being looked for by either side with the full 5. miCKe remains on his half of the map in the jungle, continuing to farm up safely, going for the standard build as the Drow, the Dragon Lance, Hurricane Pike, that ability to have that extra mobility to ensure that it's a little bit harder for Gabbi to land the bounces on him.
I love what Stark attempted to do here. He attempted to pull the wave so that he can push with his catapult wave, right? But it didn't work because miCKe came back and he defended. Nice attempt by Gabbi, nonetheless.
All about just getting these early items before the players really start to come out from the cores. Gabbi trying for that Diffusal Blade, and he's still going to hit good timing on it.
I think if you're Doom right now, you need to find the Ogre Frost Mage or the Purge Creep. The Purge Satire would be so good versus the enemy team, versus Liquid's lineup. So far, he is just farming away in the back. He's leaving Boxy completely to free farm on the lane. He can't really approach the lane creeps.
Still, with the game at this passive pace, miCKe is going to continue to out-farm the cores of TNC. For TNC, the pressure is going to be on them to make plays, especially with Armel as this Lina. He's going to want to start moving around the map, looking for opportunities to burst down the cores of Liquid, which is only going to get harder as the game goes on, especially heroes like Boxy that will become increasingly tanky as the Slardar.
Exactly. I'm surprised he hasn't already attempted that, but you look at his first item. You don't see it super often, but he went for the travels, and they will allow him to be aggressive even after just defending, pushing mid lane. I like that item build a lot.
They've got to make moves, and it looks like they will now. Now starting to stray away from the mid lane. Armel ready to team up with March, and they're going to make the move towards the bottom, try and go for the hero that they feel is most likely to be left alone, as Boxy is down here, continuing to farm. See if Boxy reads this.
So tanky though, 20 stick charges as well. They need to kill him off fast.
With the 4 of them, they should have a pretty solid chance of doing it. The Sinister Gaze into the Light Strike Array. Living Armor will not protect Boxy as TNC get the pick off, and they'll now try and push for more. They'll want more out of this, as they did bring the 4 heroes down here. Of course, whilst this goes down, Liquid being very efficient. miCKe continues to take over the jungle. Tiger's getting a bit of a look in on that top lane, and they're also pressuring in mid Liquid. So TNC, they'll need to get this tower as well to make that move worth it.
The thing is, in this sort of a situation, you need to bring 4. If you look at the network charts, he was almost on top, and Slardar with free farm is going to crush you in the mid game. You needed to delay his item progression at least a little bit.
The tower is taken by TNC. They get that objective.
look at Boxy. If you just understand what his item build is all about, he wants to be the front line. He wants to get that pipe for all the magic damage, obviously, from TNC. And with that hood, he will be able to do that.
See top arm out. He's going to look for the solo kill onto Tiger. Has he got the burst to do so? Tiger's going to use the overgrowth for Laguna Blade, still unavailable for 10 seconds. Armel did not have the ult ready to go. And now they're going to try and turn both the Gust and the Nature's Guard off the path. Tims steps in. They're trying with the Molly shot. Tims will be able to trap him in the static storm, but Tims loses his life for it. And Tiger's trying to press it onto Armel. Armel does now have Laguna Blade back and available. He's not even going to need it for Tiger as KP comes in with the Mud Golem rocks, stuns up the tree, takes him out, and the rest of Liquid are forced back behind the tower.
They're circling around. There's Doom.
They're bringing TPs in. Quafer's going to come across to try and help out, but Insania goes down. Armel picks up the double. TNC, they're still trying to get in under the tower. They know they've got the number advantage. There'll be a buyback from Tiger to make sure that TNC cannot look to dive. A very necessary buyback, as you could tell that TNC, they were hungry. They knew there was only 2 heroes behind there, and they were ready to go even deeper.
At the same time, they literally brought everyone to that top lane. Meanwhile, Boxy just chilling on the bottom lane farming. He might even blow on this Disruptor. He might get him.
He just turns, man's up onto Tims. One more touch would do it, but he can't quite get in range. They kill him just in time. They were able to protect Tims. He nearly goes down as Boxy nearly jukes all 3 of them out. But in this case, though, TNC get the kill.
That's Boxy right there. You can never count him out. He looks like he's about to die. He pops those stick charges, the sprint, and he almost takes down Disruptor with him.
Still, this game kept very even at the moment, 9-6, less than 1k in it. So the biggest difference being the difference between the mids. You obviously Quafer still playing a bit of a catch-up game after the struggles that he had in that matchup against Armel. But if they can continue to respond to these plays from TNC, every time TNC starts to get aggressive close to a tower, Quafer's going to be ready to TP over and offer that extra bit of damage from range.
It has been a very slow-paced game so far. Only one tier 1 is down, 15 minutes in, but I expect that to change very soon. On the side of TNC, you're getting these big items. You have the Fusel on Stark. He's rushing the BKB immediately after, but I think they might be ready to fight. Yules will be completed soon as well on Lina, so you will have that extra pick-off potential.
Yeah, here we have, as you said, bots and Yules combo. Armel is going to be ready to hunt anywhere that his team sees fit to start some action.
They look so tanky though on the side of Liquid. You have this Viper with that rush to 4-staff, really good versus the Slark lineup, obviously. You have Slardar that isn't completing a pipe, he's going for the Hood of Defiance into Blink Dagger, which I also respect, and he's going instantly top at this tower.
Nice TP's top. Tiger, he's ready to look for the wraparound for the trees to see if he can get the ult, catch these 2 out. KP and Armel, they're pushing on the 2 of them. TP's coming into the outpost there. It's going to be a full-on fight. There's the Overgrowth to starting the Tombstone, so there'll be no crush, but you can still look for the right things. Gets the life strike counter with the Yules, tries to separate himself from Boxy. He's still on a retreat, but quite for him with a Viper strike. Armel, he goes for the TP out. He's going to make it away. Armel escapes. And TNC will not lose anyone, neither will Liquid. Liquid, they're still hunting. They know there's more in the jungle. Gabby trying to get out. Shadow Dart's popped. Can he pounce away? He can. Static Soul and Tims thrown down to contain Mickey. But Tims, he's being slowed. He's being chased. Gabby gets the space to escape, but Mickey slides forward and will claim the kill. Tims to fall, but nobody else goes down. All the other cores escape.
You're definitely not satisfied if you're a TNC fan right now, because they had to waste that Dome onto the Slardar just so that Lina can go back. If they didn't do that, Slardar would definitely catch up onto her. I also love the way Liquid utilizes these heroes. Most importantly, Oracle, the way Insania plays around his teammates. While Slardar was going closer and closer to the Lina, he was casting Purge on the Slardar. So even though there were no stuns coming from Boxy, you still have that Purge to keep her in spot. Sadly, they had no follow-up and Lina TP's away.
Excellent reactions though from both teams. You can see that nobody's getting left out of the action. Everybody turning up to these engagements to do their best to ensure they come out on top. In the River, March goes for a bit of a de-warning mission. Boxy's going to be on top of them because of that, and with the damage coming out, the combination of the corrosive haze and the physical from Mickey, March does not stand a chance. Mickey's game continuing to blossom. He stays there at the top alongside Armel's farm.
Taiga bottom lane. They might go on him.
So there's going to be any TP back over there. It looks like he'll be left alone. Nothing that Liquid can offer him up, but they'll make the most out of the space. Mickey's back to mid. Liquid's still on the top lane as well, so
they understand how Taiga is playing. They've seen his three games. He wants to get that Meteor Hammer very fast, and because of that, they always they assign him that hard lane so that he can just outpush it and get that Meteor Hammer even faster. The Slark goes there. Lina TP's in with Boots of Travel. They scout him out, and it's easy to kill when you commit 2 cores for position 4.
Now they're playing some for Boxy, so Liquid's plays, that sort of setup's going to be a lot easier. No longer does he have to walk in and hope that he doesn't get doomed to the other lane of the Blink Crush. The dive comes in, Gabby looks for Quaker, nice track away off the mark, but they've got a lot of burst with the Lagoon and the Dragon save. It's not enough though. Insania is in with the save. Quaker will be fine as TNC back away. They cannot dive any further.
Insania also understood that he did not need to use False Promise. Their top lane, however, Boxy.
He's over the setup. Do they have the damage? They're going to drop the Doom. Boxy is very, very tanky. The Living Arm as well, keeping him fine. Armel's coming across the Yule setup, but you have to be careful. Tiger trying to get on top of the leader. The Overgrowth holds the back and forth. The Hurricane Pipe from Mickey. Set planing Boxy, keeping the Slardar safe, and now Liquid can turn. They turn onto KP, slowing him down. KP's in trouble. Gabby and March are still trying to get to the backlines, but Liquid, they're playing close to the tower.
You cannot doom the Slardar and expect to kill him without at least the Laguna Blade. He has a hood, he has a bracer. You're not taking him down. This is another time they waste that doom. At least the Static Storm is still there for them, so perhaps they can take another fight around this top lane.
And Gabby, he's sort of cool with them just calming down for a little bit. He's a recipe away from his BKB, something that's going to be very important for being able to commit on these targets and not having to worry about them turning immediately. Obviously, they'll still have a fair bit of physical, but if he gets the chance to get the momentum in the fights as he starts to get those essence shifts, it's going to be hard for Liquid's cause to get themselves away from the slug.
You say that, but at the same time, if you click on the Jaw Ranger on the Viper, you'll know that they have 2 4-staffs. There's a Pike on Nikkei, there's a 4-staff on Koikwa, and even when he gets that BKB, he will be able to chase and not die, but I'm not so sure if he's going to be able to actually take anyone down this early on.
That's how taken by Liquid. I see the opportunity to push, and they jump at it. Gabby continues to farm aggressively over Liquid's half of the map. See if Liquid sweep by and catch wind of him. That's Gabby. He knows that they're going to be hunting. Goes for the TP out. There's no vision on him, so no way to catch him.
I love that he's carrying 3 sentries in his inventory. A lot of my carry Slark players in pubs could learn a lot from Gabby. You just get those sentries, you move across the map. It's so easy for a Slark to devote.
BKB, a few hundred gold away for Gabby. Waits upon that one. Over the other side, Boxy's going to go for the Halberd next after the Blink. Make sure he has that extra means to disable Gabby in the fight, stop him from being able to get away with the damage. And I mean, you're certainly right. Between that Halberd and the kiting potential of the 4-stars, it's not necessarily going to be easy once the BKB is done. He's definitely going to need that Aghanims before Liquid are going to feel truly threatened by the Slark.
It's weird as well. When you look at TNC's lineup, you see the glimpses, you see Lina with early Boots of Travel into Yules. You see Slark with Diffusal, with bounces. You expected them to be able to get these kills, but that's definitely not the case because of the way the lanes have went. Slardar had a really good time, and now he's leading the charge. He's smoked up, he has that Blink, Hood, Bracer, he wants to bounce.
I see they get the jump on Armel. It's on the front lines, Boxy. He's in, the Corrosive, the voltage jump. Armel doesn't stand a chance as Liquid shoot down the Lina. They'll look to the tier 1 tower as well, and that is what TNC have to be scared about the most. Anytime Boxy gets a lead in like that, there's just no way that you're protecting them from Boxy and Mickey's damage output.
This combination is so broken. You jump in with the Slardar with the Corrosive Haze, and then you have Jaw Ranger with that Pike that just follows up with multi-shot from yards away.
And they're going to go for Roche. 20 seconds, no Lina. We'll see if TNC can contest this without Armel.
Disruptor is coming in, but
it's going to be too late. They've already got it. Liquid take the Roche. They take the Aegis. Boxy is looking for action. Jumps in. Tims is gone. As Liquid starting to amp up the pace they're playing. The question is, are TNC ready for this?
Hurricane Pike is usually the best item for draw early on, but in this game even more so. However,
he's going up to the high ground here, but TNC they're prepared. They try and drop the Doom down. Insania uses the false promise to try and keep Mickey safe, but they're going to chase this one for sure. Insania will buy back. He knows that he has to help Mickey after this bit of a mess up. Boxy goes to the high ground, gets the crush on the Corrosive Haze on the port, onto the port. Leader Armel's dead. They'll lose March as well. The River Gabby with the BKB trying to mount up against it, but he's his heroes. He's got to get out. Pounces up to the high ground. KP as well, trying to split the attention away. As Liquid, they'll chase. The route's there. I don't think there's any escape for KP as he's starting to get slowed down. Quite the TP's over. And Liquid take another. As TNC unable to fight there outside of the pit. Liquid did have to expend 2 buybacks, but they continue to make sure their game goes from strong to stronger.
I would never expect Liquid to be really good at going high ground, but here they go on that, they go on the shrine even, then they retreat, they bait them out and take a fight where it's really good for them, around their tier 1, around the river, because Oracle did fall, but instantly he is able to buy back and move into the fight.
Boxy ready to hunt once more with this smoke. Going in very aggressive, looking for the wrap and see who they can find behind the towers. Tim's maybe the catch as they jump in, and he's gone before we even see him. He's just instantly dead to the onslaught of the multi-shot.
If you're Liquid, there's absolutely nothing that you have to wait for right now. You're playing versus the Slark. He suffers heavily when you 5-man, and they're ready to 5-man right now. They don't have to go back. I believe this might even be a high ground push. Can they get another catch?
Let's see how much they want to push it. Force forward. They've got the grab onto March. March is gone as well. Dead for 60. There's no buyback available for the Lich. Liquid, do they want to try and go for more? Doesn't look like it. They'll hold on for now, back away.
It's understandable too. But Lich is dead.
Or maybe with this second creep where they will go again. We'll see. It's always hard to tell. Obviously, Liquid and
it's always hard to tell with Liquid.
Yeah,
right?
they've struggled to win. They struggle to go high ground. Let's see if they're feeling a little more confident today. As outside the base they stand. Okay, starting the siege. Bit of a push back onto KP. TNC, they don't really have the best means to shove the waves back at it. It's basically on Armel's Lina from a range. It's a glimpse. Not going to commit anything else on the kinetic field. Doesn't trap Boxing. Even so, he's such a tanky slot out at the moment.
You have Viper. He's extremely difficult to take down. You have Drow Ranger with Aegis, and then you have Boxy, who's almost unkillable. All supported by this Oracle plus Treant, this duo in the background that just this allows you to take down anyone.
And they've got that tower. TNC, can they do anything to punish this? Another glimpse of dead, but Boxy, he's just straight over the high ground. Goes immediately onto Tims. Tims is dead. They do Mickey, but Mickey, he's going to be protected by Insania. Boxy does fall for this. Can TNC chase for more? They brought back on Tims. TNC, they've got to find something out of this. They'll get the second support. Tiger's gone. They're chasing onwards. Another glimpse. Can they kill Mickey twice? He's trapped back into the hands of Tims and Mark. The Thunderstruck opponent, Gabby committing with a BKB, gets himself out of the multi-shot. Still has the Shadow Dance. He's got to back off. The Static Storm stopping Liquid from being able to turn immediately. They'll get March. Can they get Tims? Another stun from Armel. Slows Boxy's attempt to jump in. Tims, the range, still catches him though. Mickey and Koifert rip him apart.
KP, he's trying to creep skip. I believe he might have done it. They do have a catapult mid lane, but they will instead go for the Doom. They won't catch him. Now, this Carti, if it survives, you can see the pings are coming from the Doom. If this catapult survives, they can push high ground.
Yeah, they can certainly look to try and go for the racks. In terms of the buybacks in that last fight, Tims did use this, but the bigger one, of course, being that of Boxy's. Liquid will have to be just a little aware of Boxy. He's been playing very, very aggressive. If he does die again, there's going to be quite a big window for TNC to punch back at Liquid. But as it stands, Liquid, with the damage they have, they can move up, take these racks, and without the 5-man and the Shadow Dance available for Sark, TNC cannot fight this. They're going to have to let this go as Liquid start to open up the base of TNC.
They took first side 26 minutes in. I'm just baffled by Liquid's performance so far. Not only because they're playing so well, but because they as Liquid are able to take a side. Overall, KP has to be mad. He tried to creep skip there. He did manage to take the creep wave, but not the catapult. And Disruptor in that last fight really demonstrated why this hero is
Poor Tims, Boxy, again, I mean, so many times that Boxy's just been fighting to jump onto Tims. They're going to look to punish him. I said Boxy's got to be careful with the aggression. He did use his buyback. He has indeed got back up Insania and Koifert coming across. Boxy doesn't want to look to jump again. He's got the blinkies in, onto March, Corrosive Haze. He continues to play aggressive, a force on March, gets him back up to the high ground. March will live for now.
They're just trying to push the tempo before TNC gets a couple of extra items, before this Doom gets every defensive item that he needs. So far, he has completely itemized it in that aspect. He has Ghost Scepter.
Boxy, he's onto Gabby. Forced to pop the ult. Again, staying away from Liquid, making sure that Liquid cannot capitalize on these jumps. Liquid, they're focused on getting the momentum of the other waves in. Tiger down on the bottom lane, starts to bring it across towards the tier 2. Liquid trying to just set up the map to go for another high ground siege, get all these lanes in position.
Yeah, you can see the wards from Liquid as well, right? Straight outside of Radiant space. They want to keep them confined in their own high ground. They want to farm everything around it, and just if anyone pokes his head out, Boxy is there to cut it off.
They're prepared here for Armel. Armel's going to show himself, but indeed the move. Boxy reads it all. He's there, ready and waiting to punish Armel for trying to go for the split push. Armel, has he got any way of playing his way out of this? It doesn't look like it. Another crush comes into place, tries to slide away, but the two of them take down Lina. As Liquid are just continuing to toy with TNC each time they push out these side lanes. Tiger has got the eyes on KP. We'll see if Liquid want to bring in anyone else to try for this fight again on the aggressive.
I can't blame Armel for doing that on the top lane. As Alina, with Pyke and Travels, you have to be trying to find some space for yourself to go on different sides of the map.
KP's walking in, but he's walking into 4 heroes. He's in a whole world of trouble. He pops the Ghost Scepter, will save him a little bit of time against the physical damage. They just turn over towards March. KP has managed to create the distance. He may live, as he looks like he will. The Ghost Scepter was enough to save him.
Insania there used his nuke one last time on the case, dropped him super low, but the Chain Frost wasn't really bouncing any longer. He was fine.
And time to gear up for another push. Gabby does have the Aghanims. He's got that gap closed, but at this point, is it enough already? Liquid's Drow lineup has come into full power in terms of the pushing potential. Mickey's got the Eagle Song. He's on the way to having that butterfly at a very good speed. Gabby will be able to take away the stock of wards and that smoke that was on its way out to Insania. So maybe a bit of a chance for TNC to try and regain some map control, but it's very hard with the way that Liquid is just keeping TNC forced into their base. TNC are able to get out in the top half. They look towards controlling that outpost, make sure they have at least one of them coming into this 30 minutes, and they'll be able to do so.
But you know, there's Slardar. He goes so fast from one side of the map to the other through that river, and they have to back out. You can't really stay on that top lane. Sometimes you see heroes just hiding. You see players hiding in the trees, waiting for someone to pop out so that they can finish him off quickly, but they don't even have the burst necessary. And that's strange. You're playing Galina, but you don't have a burst necessary to take down the target fast.
He's in, and he did clip Tiger with the dust. Tiger, he is trying to juke. There'll be another pounce from Gabby that he's going to use to go across the tree line. He makes the wrong call. Wonders if Tiger's head over to the north. It's not going to be the case. So Tiger will manage to escape. He's also got the blink dagger, so now an extra way to avoid those sort of attempts from TNC to catch him out.
Slark has a couple of good neutral items. He's found Ring of Aquila and Mindbreaker. Together with that Aghanim, perhaps now he will be able to jump into the fight, maybe even catch Insania off guard and bring him down super fast.
And TNC, they're definitely still pretty strong. They're only 6k down, and they know the best way for them to take a fight is outside of their base. As they catch with the smoke, this poor outsider, the starting down. Do they have enough damage? It's going to take them a long time. They still trying, Gabby, to stay on top of Boxy, but they can't quite do it. Boxy can get himself away. KP utilized the Doom onto the Drow. Gabby's going to continue to fight on. Gets the pounce connection onto Insania. A kinetic field will trap him. Insania still with the rest of his team around, but they're going to let him go. He'll use the false promise on himself. Gabby is able to get a lot of damage done onto him. Tiger in with a newly found blink, sets up with the overgrowth and pounce away, keeps Gabby safe. They lose the support for support. Insania and March will fall. Liquid still continuing to chase. KP's out with the TP, and so is Tim's. TNC, the rest of them will escape.
They take a decent fight there, even though they initiated on Boxy. I thought that might be much worse for them. But the MVP of that fight, even though he started it off wrong onto the Slardar, was this Disruptor, because later on Boxy was about to re-engage, but he kept his cool and he glimpses him back across the other side of the map, so that there's no bashes coming and they can completely retreat to their base.
Liquid, they've got to be careful. I mean, you sort of look at the state of this game. They have this lead. We've seen this story all too many times before from Liquid. The question is, how reliably can they turn this lead into a win? Mickey's still in that massive position as this Drow, 17.5k net worth. He's incredibly huge. But down the line, these heroes on TNC, when they start to get their next few items in,
I think it's already there. I think TNC has hit that power spike in which they're able to take down targets targets if they find them. At least if it's not Boxy. You're not taking down Boxy if Oracle is in any vicinity. So if you find a Drow Ranger, Viper, or anyone else, you can take them down.
No, it's definitely still scary for Liquid despite the lead they have. You just have to look at Gabby. He's not died at all this game. His game has been flawless. Sure, the pressure's been on. They have taken that mid-Rax, but Liquid definitely not out of the woods quite yet. They'll go for another smoke move, Liquid.
They have a Blink Dagger on Taiga too, so they have multiple ways of initiating, and they might catch TNC here.
And look for Roche. See if this is scouted out. The car is there, so they know that this is up. They tried to go for the smoke into Roche, but TNC, they're going to start heading over. Can they get there in time? They cannot. Oh, they try and slide in, but already Dire, they've got the Roche kill, and Mickey's grabbed the Aegis.
Now they're on the hunt.
Thunder strike on a Boxy to try and stop him from being able to blink him, but Tiger is able to get forward with the overgrowth, catch it out Sims, turns towards KP. Mickey, he's falling pretty fast though in the static still. Mickey is in trouble with the false spawn. It's Savior. Saves who just done a turn. Gabby just gets destroyed immediately. Gabby does not have buyback. He's 300 gold short. This may be it for Liquid here, as they've just turned up with that Aegis straight off the back of the Roche fight. They get the key kills. 4 dead on TNC. Only KP with buyback. Liquid, they should be able to take quite a bit from them with this time.
I love the way they assessed their problems and dealt with them perfectly. This Boxy was their only form of initiation, but he was always handled. He was always dotted either by Disruptor or Lich. However, Taiga itemized.
And
there you go. They call it.
Without the buybacks, they don't have a chance to hold, as Liquid will do it here in this game one, taking the victory.
34 minutes in, Liquid take it deep.
I want to see Liquid. What's wrong with them?
What happened?
Yeah, not a bad way to end the game at all. Liquid already showing that they've certainly learned from not necessarily